Good morning, Sail Away crew.
We are on day 7 of a 7-night cruise on Harmony of the Seas out of Galveston, Texas. And we are here to give you what we think about Harmony. We have never been on this ship before. We have been on Wonder,
Symphony, Allure,
Oasis-class sister ships, but we have never been on Harmony before. And we were thrilled when she came to Galveston because that's like a 6-hour drive for us. Save money on flight costs, right? You all know what that's all about.
Right.
So we wanted to give you our first impressions now that we've had all week on board. And we're going to have some different categories for you. So if you aren't interested, for instance, in Embarkation, but you are interested in
Dining.
well, that's going to be a whole nother video. Thank you for mentioning that, JJ.
Exactly.
A whole nother video
It's
we're going to
coming.
do for a full food review. But let's say you are interested in the dress on board, like what's everyone wearing, right? Then you can skip to that portion in the video and we'll put some chapters down below so you can look at that. Okay, so we're starting with...
Bad news first.
Oh, what? Bad news? Cons?
They're kicking us off tomorrow.
They are rude.
How rude.
Rude. Yes, they are. We're on day 7. This will be night 7 and we get off at Galveston tomorrow. Embarkation. First category. How was Embarkation for you, JJ?
Amazing. It was really amazing. It was easy. The new terminal is fantastic. Weren't any issues there.
Right.
That's the brief.
Right. So the pros are the new terminal is beautiful.
Right.
It was, once we got inside the building, because we'll tell you some pros here in a second, outside the building.
You mean cons?
Right.
Yep.
I'm sorry. We'll tell you some cons outside the building. But once we got inside the building, it was smooth sailing, as they say.
Drum-ching.
Right. Outside the building...
Not so much.
Well, this was interesting to me. I thought I had heard that there was covered parking in the parking lot of the terminal. I saw one section.
One small section.
Yeah, it was pretty small compared to how large the whole entire parking lot is. So just consider that. Obviously, if you're reserving covered parking in that parking lot, then you're going to be in that little small section. But if you think that the entire parking lot, for instance, is covered, it's not. It's mainly uncovered. We parked at
portparking.com.
Right. We will link that below. They've been good to us. They give a veteran first responder discount.
They do.
That's about 10%.
They do.
They've also been really good, like after the shutdown when we've had to cancel cruises, and they just carry over. If you already paid for parking, they carry it over until your next cruise.
No fuss, no muss.
Right. So outside the building for Embarkation.
Outside the
terminal
building
for Embarkation was the first surprising con. Okay. No more luggage porters at the shuttle, because if you've ever parked off-site, then you know that there's a shuttle from your parking garage to the port terminal. And then usually, in fact, every other cruise we've ever done, there have been porters. They usually have Hawaiian shirts on if you're going on a Caribbean cruise, are at your shuttle, like greeting you when you step out of the shuttle doors, right? To take your luggage, and you can tip them and they will make sure your luggage gets onto the ship. This time? No porters.
So at least that was our experience last Sunday.
There were 4 shuttles probably parked under the awning right near the terminal building, and I didn't see a single Hawaiian shirt one.
Nope.
Okay, so we looked down the sidewalk of the terminal and there was already a line forming. So we thought, I wonder what that line is. Is it to get in the building? Is it for check-in? That long line was for luggage drop-off. All the Hawaiian shirted people, men, were inside that building just rearranging
at the terminal
and packing up, stocking up, piling up bags.
Yeah.
It was very odd.
They were crating the bags right there at the terminal instead of at the shuttle.
Inside the building. So you will have to carry your own bags from your shuttle into the first part of the terminal building.
Hopefully that will change.
Maybe so.
Because those folks, they missed out on a lot of money.
Yeah. They live on tips.
Yes.
I mean, I'm sure they get paid a little something too from the port city, but that means no tips. So it's kind of a pros and cons for a cruiser. You don't have to tip a luggage porter if they're not out at your vehicle.
If they're not porting your luggage.
Right. So if all you're doing is standing in line and handing them your luggage, that saves you a tip. But that also means, of course, you have to haul your own luggage into the terminal building. Probably not a big deal for a lot of people.
We're capable of doing that.
We were completely
but
capable.
I would prefer that they be available so that we can tip them.
Yeah, we were very surprised. So that was new. And again, who knows? Maybe next week that'll be different.
Yeah, it might be different this Sunday.
Yeah, be prepared. If you're not able, if you have so much luggage that you're not able to handle your own luggage, I don't know where you're going to
You
get
may have
help.
to chase down a porter.
Yeah, I don't know. You may have to go into the little garage area, ask for a porter to come out and help you, or bring a cart or something.
Right.
So that was the first thing.
That was not the do-all, end-all, though, for us,
No,
thankfully.
no. Just an FYI
Right.
and a heads up for you.
Right.
We got a really good deal on a junior suite for this cruise. I mean, really good.
What a blessing.
Yes, definitely. We won because we have a really good travel agent.
Yes, we do.
And we'll link her information below if you're looking or in the market for a travel agent and you need some help. But we got a really good deal. So we had a junior suite this time, and there is specific VIP lounge security and embarkation procedure for junior suites and above. So any kind of suite class, which junior suites are considered in the suite class, even though there are several perks that you don't get with a junior suite.
Because you don't have a mega suite.
A grand suite.
Just kidding. A mega suite.
Good night. Is that the two-story?
That's the two-story.
The
Yep.
two-story, yeah. Family suite. Yeah, I don't think we could save up for 3
No.
years and even afford that.
no.
So we got a junior suite, which gives you priority, I guess you could say, embarkation. And they also have a VIP lounge after you get through security that you can sit and rest if you need to. They had drinks, they had snacks.
Suite lounge.
Right.
It's sweet. Get it?
It's the suite.
S-W-E-E-T. The suite lounge was sweet.
Yeah, it was nice. And JJ actually, his knee needed a break by the time we got there. So we did sit and take a breath before we went on and embarked on the ship. So, however, I will tell you, if you don't have a suite, right, if you're in a balcony or below category, I noticed the people that we were getting on the ship with, I had seen go to the regular security line. So I think the lines were probably moving about at the same speed.
They're very efficient.
Yeah, because they had multiple security lines for below suite people, right?
Not non-suite.
And we just had one security line.
Right.
And the scanner and all that you have to put all your bags through. So I think it's going to be about the same speed that you'll get on the ship. Next category is the condition of the ship.
Mwah.
You gave it away right up front.
Mwah.
That's it. So we had to be reminded by our room steward that Harmony of the Sea set sail in 2016.
16?
And so I don't know that she's had an upgrade in those years.
I don't know either.
She looks pretty darn good for that age gal. In fact, I didn't notice a single thing throughout the entire week that I would say, oh, there's some paint chips, there's some carpet fraying. There, it's always the little things. On the older ships, it's sometimes not just the little things, it's sometimes the bigger things too. I didn't see big or little.
Nothing. Nothing.
Nothing.
Beautiful.
So, condition of the ship is
Beautiful.
wonderful.
Superb.
Yeah. So be prepared for a beautiful ship. Right. Okay. Guess that moves us on to the next category.
Right.
All right. Demographics and energy level of the ship. So what I noticed about demographics was it seems that the majority of, we didn't check statistics with any crew members,
No.
okay? This is just what
This
we
is
saw
personal observation.
throughout the week. It seems that the majority of the over 6,000 passengers
Right.
were 40 or older, right? Like average age. All demographics were represented. Let's say we saw quite a few families with babies.
Oh, yeah.
Infants, right?
Yep.
Some school-age children, not a lot of school-age children.
No.
Because we happen to be sailing in the first week of May. So spring break is over, school started back, and school's not out yet. So that's kind of a good time of the year to cruise because school's back in if you don't want a bunch of out of school kids running around, right? So we saw a lot of 40 plus
Right.
demographics. Saw a good amount, I guess college might be out. Some colleges might be out because I saw a good amount of like low 20s, 18 to 21.
Seemed to. Yeah.
Right. But generally, most of the crowd is 40 and over. Obviously, you're going to have on either end the older, like 65 and up. Didn't seem to be the majority, though,
No.
of the cruisers.
No.
The energy level, what'd you think about the energy level on board?
Thought it was good.
Yeah.
That was very good.
There is always something to
Always.
do late at night. If we're talking about, is this a party ship? Is this everybody's dead at 9 p.m.? Everyone's gone
Well, why do you got to drag me into it?
into their cabin at 9 p.m. It's definitely not that kind of ship. Most every night there was some kind of social event, dance party in a club or a party on the promenade, something going on. So you're not going to have to go back to your cabin and sit there and watch TV. If you want to be out and social and drinking or not drinking, whatever you want to do. So the energy level, I think, was pretty high.
Every evening.
Yeah.
There was something to do for no matter what you liked.
But not a drunk party.
No, it was not a drunk fest.
No. If you're
I didn't
looking
see any
for
of that.
if you're looking for a drunk party,
I didn't see any of that.
yeah, this is.
In fact,
not
I'm
the
not
ship.
sure I saw one drunk person the entire cruise.
And that's kind
And
of
I'm sure they were out there, but
right.
I didn't, I'm typically, anyway.
That's kind of odd. We usually see some strongly tipsy folks
Yeah.
at night on cruises or in the hot tub, and we didn't see any.
And I'm not a night owl, but my wife had me up till 11, 12 o'clock.
Past 11.
Yeah, I know.
Crazy.
And then she kicked me out of bed at 6 in the morning
I didn't
to
kick
go
you.
get her coffee.
I didn't kick you out of nowhere, mister. You up. You're up.
Can you go get my coffee?
At the crack of dawn, you're up. He did go get my Starbucks
Can
coffee
you
every
go
morning.
get my coffee?
It was very nice.
There you go.
Thank you for that, dear.
I'm a servant husband.
If you're interested in more cruising fun with all things Wagner, we are having a group cruise coming up March 2nd of 2025 on Symphony of the Seas to the Eastern Caribbean out of Miami. Wow, that was a mouthful.
Wow.
So we will put the link below if you want to join us, JJ and Sherry, on Symphony of the Seas in March.
We have a landing page.
We do. You have plenty of time to pay it off, right? To get the price through our travel agent who's making the bookings for everybody, right? So just click on the link below. Come on with us in March. What's the dress like? What's everyone dressing
The attire
like?
is...
Attire.
Yes.
What I noticed, and I made notes along the way during the week because I wanted to be able to tell y'all what it was like. We did get suckered into a specialty dining
Oh, we did.
on the very first day. So
Boom.
we're sitting in Windjammer, Embarkation Day, sitting in Windjammer. We sat down with a couple of strangers who we really enjoyed speaking to. And they happened to live right outside our same town. And the guy came walking around, specialty restaurant sales guy.
Marketing agent.
Came walking around offering a 50% off for that night. Night one only. Yeah, we did that. We totally got hooked. And we were like, well, how much is Chops normally? Well, how much would Chops be? So we got a Chops dinner on that first night for, what was it, $76?
Less than $80.
Yeah, it was 2 for 1.
For two of
basically.
us.
50% off, right? So what's normally $160 about for a dinner, especially on board. Once you get on board, you might get it cheaper than that if
There's
you
a
buy it.
caveat to that, though.
So what's the caveat?
Prior to the shutdown, it was half that per person.
If you haven't cruised in a while, or if you haven't cruised since the restart, just be aware.
Yeah.
Prices have risen on every cruise line, right? But we got suckered in. So we were in Chops Specialty Dining Steakhouse, if you're not familiar with Royal Caribbean or the specialty dining venues. And I noticed that there weren't a lot of embarkation clothes in Chops on that first night.
Which was nice.
So people had already gotten their luggage. If you're a cruise newbie, you usually get your luggage around 1 or 2 in the afternoon. Generally.
Or up to 10 o'clock.
Right, that's rare.
Rare.
That's pretty rare.
Rare.
Or maybe something's in your bag that they're not sure what it is, and so your bag ends up in the naughty room. And we've had to do that before. I can't remember what we had in there, but there wasn't anything that wasn't allowed. So you usually get your bags by 1 or 2. So I noticed a lot of collared shirts on men.
Like the polo.
Right, no t-shirts.
No
Polos
t-shirts.
and button-downs.
Right.
Also, like maybe short sleeve button-downs. It's probably about 50-50 with men, whether they were wearing pants. I saw mainly like khaki type pants and dress shorts.
Right.
Right. JJ put on, what'd you put on? Cargo pants?
I put on the cargo
Right.
pants.
And had a polo on. So I noticed that. So FYI, right? They didn't turn anyone away. We saw one guy in a t-shirt and gym shorts. They didn't disallow him in.
I don't know.
They
I
let
don't
him
know that
in.
we've ever seen anybody turned away on Embarkation Day
No, in any dining venue.
in any venue.
Right. On Royal Caribbean.
Right.
Now, be sure that you check your cruise line if you're cruising.
Absolutely.
On especially a luxury cruise line, be sure you check your website because they literally will turn you away on some cruise lines. But they won't on Royal.
Right. Or they have
They
not.
won't on Carnival. They
Right.
won't on Norwegian.
They have not.
Right. I also noticed about formal night that seemed to be a lot more folks dressed up for formal night. I think that was night 2. 2 and 6, I think, were formal night and dress your best. Okay. So you don't have to bring formal clothes, just so you know that. I will link some videos below about what to pack and what to wear on a cruise so that you will have some general ideas about what's allowed, what's not allowed. You do not have to bring fancy clothes. Just an observation that we did notice. Did you also notice that? A lot more people dressing up.
Yeah.
And I mean, the high-end tuxedos and ball gowns were very few.
I only saw one tuxedo.
I saw more than one tuxedo and more than one ball gown, but it was still a handful, maybe not even 5. It was a rare instance, but there were some tuxedos and ball gowns. Everything else was anything from church clothes, like a dress, khakis, a polo,
Button-down shirt,
to
slacks,
suits.
to sport coats.
Right. We saw a lot of sports coats and suits on
Right.
men. And like I'd say club dresses,
They looked good.
tighter after 5.
They looked
dresses
good.
on women. To church dresses and loose fitting, everything, right? Linen pants and blouses. Okay. I also noticed we did a lot of specialty dining, which you'll see on our food.
Which we don't usually do, but we wanted to
Right.
try it on this ship.
Well, we had a 3-night dining package, which we'll talk about when we get to food. And so we were in Jamie's one night, and on Jamie's night was casual/country for the attire. You'll see on your cruise planner every morning, right, or every night, whether you're looking at it on your phone or whether you get a paper copy, which you have to ask for a paper copy of the cruise planner, that it'll tell you what the wardrobe attire is for that evening. So I don't remember which night it was, but we went to Jamie's and it was casual/country night. And this is what I saw at Jamie's. I saw mostly collared shirts on men, like polo or button downs. I saw 99% dress shorts with those. So that night, the casual/country night, there were a lot more shorts on men in Jamie's, again, which if you don't know is another specialty dining venue. It's Italian. 50% women about inside Jamie's at the time we were eating there had dresses on, casual dresses, so not dressy. So that's what was going on a casual country night.
No after 5.
No, I didn't see any.
I didn't
after
see any of
5.
that.
Yeah, on a casual or country
Right.
night. And I did see a few, cowboy boots on women, with a cute dress, that kind of thing. Not a lot of theme participation. And this is actually
Didn't
the
seem
next
to be.
issue. Yeah, there's a 90s night, a 70s night, country night. That was it, right?
I think so.
70s was kind of disco night. And they actually combined formal night with 90s, which I've never seen before.
It's different.
They usually just leave formal night alone and let you just do formal night. Well, on our cruise, it was formal/90s night, which was kind of odd. I didn't see a lot of participation for the theme nights.
No.
Generally, people just wore what they were going to wear for dinner.
Right.
But if you want to dress up, we saw some really fun, cute 70s outfits.
I did see Rod Stewart.
He had a wig on and everything. It was funny.
It was hilarious.
Yeah, he was really into it.
He was playing the character.
I also noticed that participation for the second dress-up night, which they call Dress Your Best, something like that, was low participation. And I think that was because it was on our Cozumel port day. So people had been out in Cozumel all day long on the beach or in the sun or on a tour. They were hot, they were sweaty, they just wanted to get home and shower and maybe not dress up.
Get casual.
Yeah, so even though technically it was dress your best night, I didn't see a lot of
They were tired.
participation. Yeah,
They wanted to be comfy.
yeah.
I get it.
So our ports on this particular itinerary were Roatan, Costa Maya, and Cozumel. Even if you're doing a different itinerary, this will give you an idea about the ship Harmony herself. Moving on to food.
Oh, my favorite subject.
Everyone's favorite subject. Again, we will be doing a full food review video when it's ready. That will be linked down below. So depending on when you're watching this video is whether that video is ready or not. So keep a lookout for it below. It'll be a full week of food on Harmony of the Seas. So we'll give you a little bit of a snippet of our input here. The best pro we could possibly say. We have not been thrilled with Royal Caribbean's quality food since the restart. We just really felt that it hadn't been back up to normal, back up to standards.
Yeah, they've missed the mark.
Yeah. Pre-shutdown, we were always thrilled with Royal's food, and after the restart, it just hasn't. It's been creeping up slowly. This ship, completely,
They hit the mark.
yeah, completely changed our opinion. Absolutely wonderful. Every place we ate. Windjammer was great. And that's really what I've been most disappointed with on prior Royal Caribbean cruises since the restart is a Windjammer. It's just been very redundant and just kind of low quality cooking and food.
Right.
Maybe it's the size of the ship. Maybe it's that Royal Caribbean's finally got it on point.
I want to hope that it's B.
Right. But the Harmony's got it. Absolutely. So the food level is definitely up. And of course we did a lot of specialty. Wonderful. We did do the MDR. We're doing it again tonight. It was wonderful, and we heard really good feedback from people on the MDR.
The MDR food quality was amazing, and the service was really spot on.
Yep.
Yeah.
So food, we got nothing but good to say about the food.
Caused me to nap routinely.
Is that what causes that?
That's it.
Next section is cruise gear for your cabin. And I'm just going to mention one thing because we have other cruise gear videos, and I will link those down below. A whole amazing Amazon list of great options for your cruise
Will
gear.
make your life much easier.
Right. One thing that will not work in Harmony cabins is a wide EU
Euro plug
converter. If it's too wide, I'll show you some footage here. If it's too wide, it will cover up the plugs on either side of the converter, which means you lose the plugs on either side of the converter. Oh, but you gain 2 plugs in the converter. Well, then that's a wash. So you don't need the converter. So we did not use our converter. I will link for you down below though and show a picture here of a thinner converter that I think will actually fit in the holes here and not cover up the 3-prong plugs on either side of it.
That may be our go-to in the future anyway.
Yeah. So, and generally there are, as you can see here, there are 3 3-prong plugs and 2 USB plugs in the desk area. So that was actually sufficient for us. We have a USB converter hub, which we also use. I'll link that down below too for you off Amazon. That gives us more USB outlets clearly, but it really wasn't necessary, even with our camera gear or whatever, because we use our phones to film with. We were fine with the plugs that are already in the room. So you may be too. So that's all I'll mention on cruise gear for the room. How crowded is the ship? How crowded in general was the ship to you, JJ?
I didn't feel crowded at all, quite frankly.
I didn't either.
There's a lot of room on
Totally
this.
not. These Oasis-class gals, if you're not familiar with Royal Caribbean, the Oasis-class category of ships, they're the largest. They're still, I mean, Wonder, I guess, was the last Oasis-class. And then now we have
the new Icon
which
series.
is the largest ship in the world.
Yeah.
But right under the Icon was the last Oasis-class, and it was Wonder, and she was the biggest ship in the world. So these Oasis-class ships are huge, 6,000 plus passengers, You got 7,000 people once you include crew.
Oh, you got, yeah, the crew's close to 2,000.
And the one time that we were standing in a line was standby line for the Aqua Show, because I did not see the Aqua Show.
That was our fault.
Yeah. I did not see it on the app pre-cruise to book the Aqua Show. And we didn't have it booked. So we just stood in the standby line. And that was the only line we stood in all week.
Right.
Including food lines.
Correct.
Okay. Because we had what's called, when we went to the MDR, we had already set our dining time. So we didn't have to stand in line for any time. That was a long line.
Right.
And in fact, someone night 2 told us they waited an
30
hour.
30 minutes to an hour. I couldn't remember.
In the anytime dining line.
Right.
So just keep that in mind. If you want a more flexible schedule for your dining, then you may have to stand in line, which if you're flexible, then it's no big deal. If you want to know when you're going to eat and walk right into your dining room, you already know your table number after night 1, and they will tell you, just walk on in.
Just go to your table.
Walk on in the MDR, you know right where your table is, and sit down. So there were really no lines all week long that we had to wait in. The pool deck, like any other ship this size, on port days, lots of loungers.
Plenty of loungers.
Lots of loungers out by the pool.
No bodies at the pool.
No problem at all. Sea days, good luck with that. It's going to be crowded. It's going to be crowded. You're probably going to have to look on the upper deck that's not right by the pool, because these people will come out quickly in the morning and they will have one person there. They may save a couple of seats, but there'll be a person there.
Nobody saves seats at the pool.
Really?
Said no one ever.
There are signs all over the place. There are signs literally on the chairs
It's honor system.
that say no saving seats. So I don't know if they're enforcing it or not.
It's honor system.
If you want a pool chair on a sea day, you just better get out there early. Just have someone bring you breakfast. Right? Bring you some fruit and a donut out to the pool chairs, and you can get one.
That's what I missed this morning at breakfast.
Your donut?
My donut.
If you found this video helpful or informative, please hit the like button and subscribe for future cruise and travel information. We really appreciate it. Entertainment. We saw everything but the full Aqua Show, and we'll tell you why we didn't see the full Aqua Show. So we tried that one night we told you about the Aqua Show, and we were in the standby line, and we did not get in. Well, we got in. We could have sat in the splash zone. We decided not to. If you've never been on Oasis-class ship, they have what's called an aqua theater, and it literally is a huge multi-gallon swimming pool. It's a diving show. It's a choreographed dance show to music and in and out of the water. It's a water show. Literally is an aqua show. That's only on the Oasis-class ships on Royal Caribbean. So we stood in the standby line, and when they let people who didn't have reservations in, I know some people were saving chairs. They had like their legs, over 3 seats next to them.
Laying down like a park bench.
Yeah, I wasn't going to be rude. It wasn't worth that. We've seen an aqua show before. So we looked down, and eventually it was the splash zone only. So we just went on and did something else that evening. So we went back later in the week to see the aqua show, and the weather was bad.
The seas were high.
Right.
And the ship was cavitating, and the water in the pool cavitates with the motion of the ship,
Yeah.
which makes it dangerous for certain
parts of the show.
Parts of the diving performance of the show.
So they started.
It was limited.
With I think the whole show was limited.
The whole show was limited.
Right. So they didn't really open the pool until later in the show. So, and the beginning of the show was something kind of odd. It was a guy in a double skirted outfit, and I'll show you some footage here because I couldn't believe that's what it was, and was twirling on the stage. It was a very odd opening.
It looked like a human top spinning.
And he just stood there in his double, there's a skirt up top and a skirt down below, and the skirts rose for about 10 minutes on the stage.
I still haven't been able to figure out.
And I'll tell you, the reason we were so shocked is because this is literally an Olympic level diving show. These are regional winning divers across the country and from other countries.
Other countries, yeah.
And swimmers and dancers, and it's a very high level performance.
High skill set, high energy.
Yes, athletes. And so we were very surprised.
He just didn't fit in.
We were very surprised. So we didn't stay very long because we could tell that it was going to be like an edited version. But we have seen aqua shows on other Oasis-class, and they're amazing. Highly suggest that you go see the aqua show.
And pray that the water's smooth to do so.
This one on Harmony is called The Fine Line. So make sure that you look on your app before your cruise and reserve it.
Correct.
The theater shows currently are Grease and Columbus, which Grease is the regular Broadway version of Grease. Not the Broadway cast, but it's a Royal Caribbean cast. And then Columbus is the story about, it's a fictional story, of Christopher Columbus's distant relative, Marvin Columbus,
right,
and his antics and life. So it's a musical.
It's a musical comedy.
And it's the same cast as the Grease cast.
Right.
So what we have found, and was still true this week on Harmony, is that the skill set, the dancing and singing, is top notch.
Top notch.
On Royal Caribbean.
It's amazing.
Dancers,
all of them.
Yeah. Dancers and singers are amazing.
Yeah.
The script of the play, the Grease, is amazing. Again, it's a Broadway script and music. It is rated PG-13.
There's a couple artistic tweets.
Right.
Tweaks.
Much like the original movie.
Right.
If you've seen the original movie, as an adult, you may not think anything about it.
Right.
I mean, it's about a bunch of 50s teenagers. Okay, so, you got some innuendos in there. It's 50s teenagers. The same innuendos are in the stage production. So if you remember the movie Grease and you wouldn't really want your, 10 or 11-year-old maybe watching it, this is not the stage production for them either. Plus, there were a few more added parts, lyrics to the songs, and jokes.
Some artistic liberties taken. Sure.
Yes, that were more sexualized. Okay, so just keep that in mind. It is literally
you said
rated.
The S word.
It is literally rated PG-13, and they will remind you of that in the cruise planner and on stage.
Yep.
But it was amazing.
It was good.
Singing and dancing was good. The ice show is called 1887. Again, we've never seen a bad ice show, right? On Royal?
Never.
Right. They're just good. The talent is amazing. This script was interesting.
Different.
Yeah. So I would highly suggest booking the ice show too. Okay, we've been talking about booking and making reservations. Oasis-class ships on Royal Caribbean require reservations before your cruise. So go on your app, reserve the shows, pick a night, pick a time. If you fail to do that, it doesn't mean you're not going to get to see a show.
How long before my cruise do I need to book, or can I book?
It will open about 45 to 30 days.
I can book that far ahead on my app?
Probably, yes.
Okay.
It's probably going to be the 30-day period, like the first of the month before you cruise. Like we cruised on May 5th. Our shows opened April 5th, the first week in April. Okay, so it's usually going to be about 30 days out. It might be 45 days, so keep a look on your app.
Is there anything that's restricted to booking once I board? Are there any?
You can't book once you board.
Not at all.
Your shows, nope.
Okay.
No more reservations. So, and that's the next step, right? If you get on board and you said, oh, I didn't know, or I forgot, or it was like we did with the Aqua Show, or it wasn't available, it already said booked, whatever, you can then show up 15 minutes, at least 15 minutes before the show starts.
Make it 30.
And get in a standby line.
Make it 30.
They will then open the theater or the venue 10 to 15 minutes before the show. So all the people with reservations better show up before that. Because
otherwise, JJ's getting their seat.
At 10 to 15 minutes before the show, they're opening it up to everybody and anybody. So if you do reserve shows, make sure you show up 30 minutes before.
Right.
So you can, one, get in, and two, find a good seat that you want. However, just because you failed to reserve before your cruise doesn't mean you can't see the shows. Just go ahead and
Be there 30 minutes early.
Yeah, head to the theater and get in the standby line. So, Ice Show was great. Aqua Show was great. Grease was great. Columbus is very interesting. So, we went to see it last night. JJ was tired and thought he was going to be bored.
Thought I was going to take a nap.
He literally said that. He was saying, seriously, I thought he could care less. He's literally going to take a nap. That's what I thought when we were in the theater.
That was my intention.
Right. And this show, these were my notes. I wrote, clever script that's handicapped a bit with random songs and costumes.
True.
It's a comedy musical, original script by Royal Caribbean. And you see initially that it's going to be a comedy.
Right off the bat, sure.
But this was the first thing that woke JJ up. It's a scene on a ship, and the set was amazing.
Oh,
it's like a rotating ship. It was really amazing.
Had sails and everything.
Yeah. And so they're singing and dancing, and then all of a sudden they throw in Cheeseburgers in Paradise, the song.
Female dancers were cheeseburgers.
How that fits into Marvin Columbus and his sailing across the ocean? Right. That's what brings in the random adjective. It really was.
They were hungry.
And it woke him up, because then he thought, oh, what is this? One, I know that song. He's thinking, oh, this is a familiar song.
Right.
And what was the shark? They came out in shark costumes?
Yeah.
And what was the song?
I don't remember. I must have slept through that.
No, you didn't. You were awake. And the reason I say that is because it was entertaining, unique, and it kept you guessing. That's what woke him up. So we would suggest, right? Going to see Columbus. It was fun.
It was fun.
Just don't expect like a formal.
Yeah. It's
right. Easy to understand script.
Yeah, you're not going to see Phantom of the Opera type. That's not going to happen.
And
But it was entertaining.
Even for a comedy, it was very just random.
Random.
Throwing in songs.
Yep.
But it was on night 6. So it was good timing.
But the dancers and the vocalists were,
still amazing.
Still. Yeah.
Absolutely. We also went to see the jazz quartet. Not sure when you're going to be cruising on Harmony, but during our cruise, there was a jazz quartet often that sang in Dazzles. And they were very good.
She's from Estonia.
Yes, amazing.
Yeah.
They were and Dazzles is a club, 2-story club
venue
with a bar, right, and a stage. It's just very relaxing.
And it overlooks Central Park.
Yes, behind the stage is Central Park. It's a beautiful venue. So if you just want to go and relax and have some drinks and meet some new friends, Dazzles.
It's a good place to go.
Yes, is a great place to go. And
they do serve mocktails.
Yes, absolutely. That jazz quartet was wonderful. In the same venue, we also saw a band that was called The Soul Factor. Also amazing.
Philippines.
And those people could sing.
Yeah,
amazing.
Especially that lead female.
Amazing.
Good night.
Singers, very entertaining. So again, that was in Dazzles. They are also in other spots
around the ship,
on the ship throughout the week. So keep an eye on your cruise planner. And if you like a good jazz band, and I say the Soul Factor because she sang everything from
Motown,
Whitney Houston. They're doing a Motown show tonight.
Yep.
And she rocked out Celine Dion too. She rocked out on Celine Dion and Whitney Houston. This Philippine girl could sing. And so they call themselves a Soul Factor because they got a little soul too.
They do soul.
Yeah, very fun.
Well.
There are also movies in the main theater, the big theater, the stage production theater. They have movies. I forgot what the other movie was called. They had 2 movies this week. We went to see One Love.
Bob Marley.
The Bob Marley movie.
One Love, Mom.
When you cruise on Harmony, just make sure to notice in the cruise planner, there may be movies showing. Sometimes they show them on the pool deck.
They had popcorn.
They did have popcorn. I think it was extra. I think you have to pay.
Oh, yeah,
pay
sure.
for it. But we have bought the popcorn before at a movie, and it's not a whole lot. So keep an eye on that on the cruise planner too. So that was something nice. Internet. You hear some nightmare stories about internet on cruise ships.
Not this week, you won't.
Seriously. Royal Caribbean now uses Starlink. I think maybe are they across the fleet now using Starlink?
That was the goal. I'm
I
not
think
sure if
so.
they've made it, but
Before this cruise, every cruise we've had Wi-Fi on has been hit or miss.
bounced and on and off.
Right. We've had to log back on in the middle of the day. If we hadn't been on for more than 30 minutes, we would have to log back on. It's just been kind of irritating, I guess you could say, you know.
Frustrating.
Yeah, you pay for the Wi-Fi package and then you're having to log back on every time you get on your phone. Okay. First world problems, we know. So this week, he already gave it away.
Perfect.
Not one single issue.
Perfect.
Not one single issue. Whether we were in the cabin, no matter where we were on the ship.
No matter where.
Sometimes we found in the past on other ships that the cabin is like the worst reception.
Service interruptions.
Right.
For whatever
inside
reason.
the cabin.
Yeah.
Which,
Or the balcony. Sometimes you lose it completely on the balcony.
right.
I didn't lose it at all.
No,
this
this
week.
ship, we didn't lose it a single time. So that's just the note on the internet is if you need Wi-Fi or you want Wi-Fi on Harmony of the Seas,
Rock on.
there you go. Other issues or happenings on Harmony of the Seas. Something that was very disappointing, and I hope it's a temporary thing.
Me
we
too.
plan on putting it on our survey and maybe talking to an officer about it before we leave, just to find out what the story is. There were no trolleys in port from the cruise ship to the port terminal. So if you've cruised before, then you know. For those with mobility issues, or basically they don't limit it, it could be anyone.
But especially for mobility.
Yeah, I mean, that's who it's meant for.
It's critical.
Older people or those with mobility issues. There are trolleys, now open air trolleys, from the ship, and they pick you up when
Near the ship.
yeah, down at the bottom of the gangway, and they take you all the way down the pier, which some ports can be a really long walk.
Right.
So they take you all the way into the port terminal, which has been really nice. None of the ports on this itinerary had trolleys, except for finally late arrival of the trolley in Costa Maya. So when we got off the ship in Costa Maya, there was no trolley running. We got up to the port terminal and we saw the trolley sitting right there. I was like, why isn't the trolley running? Well, once we left the port, we saw a little tractor, a small little tractor, hook itself up to the front of the trolley, and then they started going to the ship.
But this was a good 3 hours after we ported.
Yeah, so the majority of people, especially those who had excursions, had to walk that really long pier into the port terminal, which is, again, unfortunate. So be aware. Some other people told us that they actually did see the ship staff,
Pushing wheelchairs.
yeah, pushing people in wheelchairs down the pier. So if you literally have someone who cannot walk, get with a staff member.
Make arrangements.
Yeah, but heads up, there may not be
May not be.
a trolley there.
Right.
We also had a medical emergency.
On board the ship
Yeah.
while we were cruising.
So this is really good to know. Obviously, this isn't going to happen every cruise, but it's good to know, especially if you're a fairly new cruiser, that this may happen. Obviously, if it was your family member, you would want them to take care of it. Caused a detour.
Caused a detour. We were in the Gulf of Mexico. The captain came on board and indicated there was a passenger who was having a medical emergency. We were headed to Roatan, so he diverted to Cozumel. And they met us at the port. The medical team there in Cozumel met us at the port and took custody and care of that passenger, which
And then
was very, very good.
Yeah, then we went straight on.
We left the port after they dropped them off, and we were in Roatan on time.
Right on time.
Right on time.
We have to pass Cozumel anyway
Right.
to get to Costa Maya, so we were already headed that way. Be ready, again, if you're more of a new cruiser, your contract is clear when you book
Right.
your cruise and agree to everything, that even if we had to have missed a port, they will return our port fees, any port fees that you were charged, But other than that, there's not a lot you can
They're-
do
Yeah, they're not obligated to do any
about
more than
missing a port, right? Oftentimes, we have heard Royal Caribbean will reimburse some passengers or give them future cruise credit or something. But anyway, just wanted to let you know, Royal Caribbean handled it amazingly. If it had been my
that. Professionally.
family member with a medical emergency, I'd have been very grateful.
Well, that would have been me.
I hope not. They were very quick and responsive.
So in that incident, 2 thumbs up to the captain.
Definitely. If your itinerary is going to Cozumel or Costa Maya and you're not sure about what excursions to try out, check out these videos here for a little information about the port and some excursion options. Thank you so much for joining us and be blessed.
Peace.